This right here is a rant, and it's aimed at people who have already seen Quantum of Solace, the new James Bond film. If you're interested in hearing what my thoughts are, spoilers included, stay tuned, okay? Let's get into it. Quantum of Solace is the new James Bond film starring Daniel Craig. New James Bond film? Okay. It's treating Casino Royale as the start of a trilogy, maybe, or a new series almost, with the exception of Judi Dench as M. It doesn't require a lot of knowledge of the first 20 so Bond films. Just Casino Royale, you really have to be a scholar in Casino Royale to understand what just happened in this movie. And it's even from the beginning that there are faces appearing that I am not sure if I've seen before. I'm not sure if I've seen these guys in Casino Royale. Some of them, yes. Some of them, it's hard to tell. And there's a whole lot of talk about Vesper Lynd. Maybe the most times a dead character has ever been mentioned in a film. It should have been called Vesper Lynd, Quantum of Solace, also featuring James Bond. It's amazing. Not helping in the whole matter is a combination of a lackluster performance from the director of photography, and editor. The shots are probably described as Tony Scott without Ritalin. There is something like, it seems like a 1/8 second glance at things, just spliced together real quick. I have no idea what happened throughout most of the film. Everything is treated like an action sequence. The action sequences, you can tell they're action sequences because something's usually going somewhere. When people are standing around trying to talk, interrogate somebody or whatever, and the shots are so fast that you can't tell who's talking or what these people look like. So if you run into them later, you have no idea if you're supposed to recognize them or not. The first guy James Bond has in the back of his car, I don't know if I've seen him in Quantum of Solace or not. I mean, okay, I saw him in Quantum of Solace. I don't know if I've seen him in Casino Royale. But maybe I didn't see him in Quantum of Solace because he probably was there for a split second, right? So that gives way to a foot chase that involves one of M's bodyguards gone rogue, which, okay, M's bodyguards are pretty much the worst ever. James Bond can be handcuffed. Maybe he's handcuffed, maybe he's not. It's hard to tell. I didn't get a good look. I assume James Bond's handcuffed, and he handles like 4 or 5 of them in an elevator at once, mostly by touching them with his shoulder blade, and then they fall down. So, okay, Daniel Craig is basically Spider-Man and Wolverine in this movie. He is unstoppable. He can break stuff, superhuman strength. He's the Terminator with less humor, even, okay? Back to that first chase, the foot chase, that is. I didn't see what was happening, to be honest. There was some really bad editing there, and there was a bad choice in costuming and art direction, okay? You have 2 guys running, and they're both wearing dark clothes. One's black, and one is a very dark gray. And the way it's shot, you have no idea what happened to anybody in that scene. It's really quite amazing, okay? Then, some shots get fired at this horse race. And we have to keep looking back at that. Our chase is like 200 feet uptown from there. And we're looking back. Okay, people were shot. Okay, we got it. Oh, well, people were shot a minute ago. I think we understand it, Not the best choice. Other questionable editing choices can be found in any time that there's dialogue that might have some exposition in it. We just have so many things to look at, it's hard to take it all in, okay? For example, the table M has that's running some kind of super large iPhone interface. If we're supposed to collect information from looking at that, we can't. It's flying everywhere. Give us a projector and just say, this is our guy. Here's a picture of him. Remember that. audience. It's old. It works. That's why it tends to show up again. This thing about, oh, here's a canted angle of advanced graphic user interface, and look at what it can do. Be more concerned with the motions of it than what we're talking about or any pictures, because you're not going to be able to catch it anyhow. It's not the best way to tell the story. At the opera, there's a fight, I guess. There's also an opera going on intercut with the fight and the chase after. And, we've seen that thing before, but when you have longer takes and you can appreciate the action, it's much more rewarding, okay, for everybody. So keep that in mind, whoever's doing the next James Bond film, okay? What else do I got on my list here? Okay, what happened? I guess the villain, his plan to become some kind of supervillain, take over the world, involved stealing poor people's water supply. If you blackmail poor people, what do they give you? Do they give you some jugs or beads? Maybe they wove a sweater you're going to extort from them, right? It's not a good plan, honestly. I don't understand what Daniel Craig's doing. His cold Bond thing is wearing thin on me after 2 films. I think it's not. I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I think that when you've got this guy who's pretending that he's in the middle of something as serious as The Dark Knight, I guess, and you got all this non-diegetic sound cues for a cue action sequence song and whatever, and sounds of this and whatnot, it's kind of bizarre. It's a bit of a clash. There's some other questionable things going on with plot and whatever, aside from just a whole ton of characters showing up and having a hard time keeping track of them. You have maybe a general who's staging a coup. He wants to rent out, I guess, a giant hotel in the middle of the desert. I can't tell if it's even guarded. I can't tell if he's guarded. He's doing some deal there, and there seems to be no one there. I think maybe for one shot it looked like he had military guys there, but Olga Kurylenko's character walks across the top of the hotel as if no one was there. Then she has to kill some guys, and it's like, oh, well, that's my first kill. So she didn't even take down anybody to get up there. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And nothing really makes sense. James Bond is chasing people the whole time without asking any questions to anybody. Just, okay, I'm going to go get him. Okay, well, I screwed that up. I killed this guy. Now we don't have a lead. So where are all these leads coming from? It's just things are flying at him, and he's going to do these things, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, change this, and we're going after these guys now, and no one knows why, but it's an entertaining film. You'll probably have some fun watching it. There's certainly worse things out there. This is probably the most entertaining thing you can see right now.